Okay, on the bottom of page 416, you see how to present value a bond that has a premium. The discount example is right above that, but in this case, we have a 2-year bond that is $100,000, and we are paying interest 4 different times on a semi-annual basis, so twice a year, and we're paying a total annual rate of 12%. So each payment would be 6%, but the market rate of interest is 10%. So in this case, the market is less than what we're paying for the bond, so we're going to be issuing this at a premium, and so our bond is going to be worth more. The way they go about calculating that, they basically say, what are the 5 different payments that we have? We have the $100,000 that is returned at maturity, and then we have the 6 different interest payments, and they have tables here. The first one is just a present value of lump sum, and the other one is an annuity where there's ongoing payments. B1 and B3 are the tables to look at. But we're basically figuring out how much is $100,000 2 years from now worth today, and it says it's worth $82,270. And then how much are $4,000 or $6,000 payments on a rolling basis every 6 months? How much are those worth today? And those are worth $21,276 for the total of $103,546. So that is the amount that would be issued for the bonds, assuming they were issued using the present value concepts. And then that $3,546 would be the premium that we would amortize over the life of the loan. So that's kind of the basics of present value. You'll use it a lot in finance classes and investing and in kind of in life in general. So make sure you kind of understand what's going on. And real quick, let's talk about the effective interest method in Appendix 10B. Okay, let's look at Appendix B. It's the bottom of page 427 through the bottom of page 429. It should be a real quick read, just about 2 minutes. So make sure you go ahead and read those, pause the video if you need to. What this is doing is looking at the same bonds that we looked at on page 416 where we amortize using the straight line method. There's an example of a discount and an example of a premium. A minute ago we calculated the 103,546 using the present value calculation. Now this is doing it the proper GAAP way using the effective interest method. And what this method does is it does a better job of matching the expenses with the associated borrowing. So for example, we took out, for the example with the premium, 103,546. That is the amount that we borrowed for the bond at the issue date. We need to take that amount times the market rate of interest to determine our interest expense. Whenever we pay back part of that and amortize part of our interest, we have a lower face value, and then we need to take the market rate of interest times by that. So over the life of the bond, since it's issued at a premium, we're going to be paying less and less effective interest. See column B, bond interest expense. That is getting reduced period by period. Over under the discount, that is actually going up because we're writing up under the discount bond. We're writing it up toward the face value. Under the premium, we're writing it down. We're figuring out this column B, bond interest expense, based on the carrying value of the bond. So it starts out at 103,546 using the premium example, and it goes down right before the last interest payment, 109,552. We're calculating the new bond interest based on that. So it does a better job of matching. If it's a material amount, you're required under GAAP to use effective interest method. So I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing in this table. So we're looking at the top of page 429 here. We started with the 103,546. That's their carrying value. Of that, $100,000 is face value. Unamortized premium is $35.46. Now we know that every 6 months we're paying $6,000. So that's column A. That's the stated rate of interest, which is 12%, 6% semi-annually. And then how do we figure out the bond interest expense? Well, the market rate of interest is only 5% semi-annually, 10% for the year. So that 103,546, we times that by the 5% to get 51.77. The difference between the two is going to be the premium amortization. So when we did our entry, look there on page 429 for the first example at 6/30/2010. And the bond interest expense is 5177. We're taking this just from the table above. The premium, the amortization of the premium is 823, and then the cash amount is the regular $6,000 payment. So we're writing down the premium under each example, the straight line and the effective interest method, over the term of the life, it's going to be exactly the same, but our periods don't match up. There's different expense and different amortization under each period. The proper way to do this is effective interest method. So take a look at these 2 pages. I'm not sure if there's a homework problem on effective interest method or not, but if there is, at least you'll know it, and you'll know it because you'll see this a lot going forward in more advanced classes and in practice as well. Okay, the last thing I wanted to do is give you a devotional for the week. The book that I picked is The Life of God in the Soul of Man. It's by Henry Scougal. It's an old book. It was written in the 1600s. He died in 1657, so shortly before that. He died pretty young at 27, but was really accomplished in that period of time. This is one of the books that Wesley really drew from and recommended to George Whitefield. It was really essential in his conversion and his call to preach. It's about 100 years before Wesley, but one of the advantages of books that have lasted this long is you know that there's going to be some substance in it if it's still being published and still being read widely. And you know, a lot of the books that you see on the Walmart shelf with Joel Osteen that are kind of faddish and hip things now, I really strongly recommend you to dig into some of the more ancient literature, if you can call 400 years or 350 years ancient. Not that long ago, but some of the things that have really stood around for a couple hundred years that really are going to have a lot more substance in the literature than something that is more based on whatever fads or whatever emerging society wants. This is a book where Henry Scougal wrote basically a treatise on what Christianity is. It's real short. It's about 140, 150 pages. He wrote it to a non-believing friend, just kind of outlining him the basic tenets of why Christianity makes sense, why it's life-changing and transformational. Real short read, and this would be real good to pick up, you know, off Amazon, or they probably have these at most bookstores. But really good short read for a devotional, and if you check it out and you have any thoughts, feel free to drop me a line and we can discuss. But anyway, this has been Chapter 6. We'll see you one more week after this workshop, and we'll be wrapping up the course. So check out the books. Let me know if you're reading anything else, and I'll be praying for you. See you soon. Thanks.